All right, it's 11 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for your time to join us here today for AI search optimization. We're going to cover 7 must-do moves for 2025, things you've got to do right now. I'm Margie Moore, CEO of Big Orange Marketing.
And I'm Emilia Pitlick. I'm the Director of Client Services.
Great, so we got our recording on. Here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk a little bit about AI and SEO today because we get a lot of questions about this. Then we'll go right into the 7 moves, and then at the end we have an offering, our AI search visibility package. So we'd love to cover that as well. So our company's getting found by AI search. I think everyone knows it's yes, and it's accelerating. Terms are like AEO, GEO. Is SEO going away? No, SEO is not going away. AI pulls content from your index sources like your website, LinkedIn, Reddit, directory listings, all kinds of things. It's about more than Google today. It's about being able to be found by AI and Google. Google is still king worldwide. You can look at the numbers here recently, but it's gaining speed and it is also sending some higher quality leads.
So like we said, SEO still matters. The Google Eat principle is still alive and well. It prioritizes experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So LLMs like Chat are trained to look for high-ranking, credible content, which meets that Eat, compliant content. So our traditional SEO still needs to follow that. Because that's where those LLMs are grabbing information and are going to send people to you. That trustworthiness is still very critical. There's a lot of AI generated noise out there. So having human-centric content with clear authorship and reputation is still very important in order to get you in those search results. Because AI will take and summarize your content and cite your site, but only if your content is worth summarizing.
All right, so right into the 7 must-do moves to show up in AI search today. So Emilia?
The first one's probably the most boring one. It's just making sure the technical setup of your website is in line. So there's things that your website developer can check, like your site schema, making sure your site is indexable. Common Crawl is used in LLM training. Also, sometimes blocking bots is what you have on your website, but that may also block AI. So you want to check that. And then really lastly, making sure that your site has accessibility, because if it's accessible to humans, it's going to be accessible to AI as well.
Great. Okay. So tip number 2, second step to get started on this, you want to reverse engineer AI searches. So think about your ideal clients and how they would search you. Think about things like, what are 5 MSP firms in Cleveland? Who are 10 custom home builders in Utah? So then ask Chat why it did or did not include you in that list. Then ask Chat to provide you a top 10 list again and list yourself first. This is a good temporary thing to get yourself crawled. And you need good content on your site and web to be found. Here's some action items to do. You want to create a finite list of content that you should write for AI and weave it into your ongoing thought leadership plans just to make sure that you are consistently showing up. Here's a prompt. So something like, write a list of 10 content topics that we should write to be listed as a managed IT services firm in Atlanta. We work with manufacturers and we work with financial services industry. So ask ChatGPT for a list of topics. And on your right, you can see some examples of what you might get back, like top 7 IT challenges for Atlanta manufacturers in 2025 and how to solve them. Titles like that, that's the content you want to write. Tip is you also need to get comfortable with writing comparison content. Always list yourself first. You'll need to plan, write, and load all of this content. So that's what we recommend.
The third tip is around words like top, best. And so when people are searching those things, they're looking at directories, they're looking at not just your website, but things like Google My Business, your Clutch profile, Yelp. Glassdoor. So not only having those like top and best of on your site, you also need to show up top and best of on those directories. So one thing you can do is first ask, whichever AI you're using, what are the top IT service firms in Atlanta, and provide sources. Then if you're not on the list, again, you can ask it, please add so-and-so. You can also ask it why wasn't it on the list. But if you get those sources, you can quickly go check and see if you're listed on there. So taking those sources, I think, yeah, taking that list, that is an immediate list of where you need to be listed at. So it's kind of doubling down on their SEO efforts, but then plugging yourself in here, mspresources.org, expertise.com, and so on. Then you can fill out all of those listings. Some of them are paid, like Clutch has a paid offering. And so you'll want to like make sure to strategize on that. And then you can redo that search and see where your firm appears in the results.
Great. Okay, next tip is multi-factor. So true story, a client found us through ChatGPT search. They were looking for an inbound marketing firm with story brand experience that had worked with technology and manufacturers and also HubSpot. So you don't want to just be the best, you want to be the best for someone specific. So think beyond broad search terms. Search is filtered by intent, by industry, by geography, by specific needs. So the action items here are think of your uniques. We are StoryBrand, we're inbound marketing, HubSpot, we're women owned, and then create pages for each of these types of things. Create industry specific things for each of these types of things. So StoryBrand websites for manufacturers is an example for us. And then also be sure to ask clients how they found you when they searched what they searched, like probe, because people will remember and happily share that with you. You just need to remember to ask.
Tip number 5 is around Q&A search. So we always say if you hear it in sales, you should be ranking for it. So these are the questions that people are searching for before they reach out and maybe not even finding the answer. And so they're reaching out and asking you the question. So you want to know, what specific question do I want to be known for answering? There's also a strategy that they ask you answer that we prescribe by. So questions like, how long does it take to switch IT service firms? How much does it cost to to build a custom home? AI tools love content that answers these questions directly and very clearly. So your action, one great way to get at what these questions are is a feedback loop with your sales and marketing team. So regularly touching base with your sales team to find out what are the common questions that they're getting, and then turn those questions into content. That content could be in the form of a blog, a video, an FAQ, but building that robust content plan around those questions is really going to help you move up in results. You can also prompt AI, like what questions do Atlanta homeowners ask when evaluating a custom home builder? And that will give you a bunch of questions to get you started.
I'll cover this one. So content types to think about. You may think, oh, I don't have things to write about, but here are some great content types that you can consider. Things like client wins, case study, industry awards, client testimonials, milestone achievements. They ask you answer, like we just mentioned, new partnerships, media mentions, press coverage, speaking engagements, employee highlights, blogs, and educational articles, of course, and things like community support. Like if you're sponsoring a golf tournament, cover stuff like that. That's good news. All right, now I'm going to cover a little bit of an aside. Proposal writing and emails are a lot of work. ChatGPT projects allow you to do a set of tasks the same way every time. This is a paid subscription. I'm going to go through a proposal writer and an email writer. You also want to use AI recordings to record your transcripts and upload those directly into chat. Here's an example of our Big Orange proposal writer. On the left, you can add in files. On the right, you can add in instructions. Here's an example of the instructions. For proposals, we're looking for you to review a recording of a discovery call and summarize it into the following. Give me back a background, 3 to 4 sentences that starts with company name, gives a background of what they're looking for, and always start this section like this. This is an example of the background writer. Here is our email writer as well. ChatGPT tends to give very verbose emails back, so I created a writer to help write very succinct emails back. I tell it, give me back always so short and succinct emails. Also, give it back to me this way exactly every time, and use my information I provided in the files as well. Here's a visual example of how to drop those files into the file part. All right, now I'm going to move on to tip number 7, decision stage content. So new tip from Neil Patel this month that we're looking at is decision stage content. You really want to target those buyers who are ready to act. You want to answer decision stage questions such as top 5 questions to ask before choosing a cybersecurity partner for your plant. That would be if you're targeting manufacturers and you're an MSP. Or custom builds versus remodels, which is right for empty nesters. So very specific audiences, very specific questions. Again, we want to feed that decision search. Reason from Neil Patel is AI traffic converts about 23% better than standard organic. Think about things like comparison guides, like outsourced IT support versus internal IT for someone very specific, like manufacturers. Builder marketing, the ultimate cost comparison guide, building a custom home versus buying new construction. So tips like that for decision stage content as well. Here are some action steps for decision stage content. Again, don't forget to use the proper formatting. Bullet points, frequently asked questions, get your schema markups right. So AI tools can easily extract that content. Again, showcase your authority with expert quotes, data, case studies to build credibility. Always build conversion-ready assets with calculators, comparison guides, and clear calls to action, like book a consultation, get a quote. And then you want to generate some decision stage contents with AI. I have a prompt example to show you as well for this that you can copy. We'll put this in the notes later. But ask it to generate 10 decision stage contents for yourself. These should target buyers who are comparing solutions and ready to make a purchase. Use formats like give it back the formats. Then keep in mind our 3 uniques. So keep in mind Big Orange Marketing at our URL. Our expertise areas are story brand marketing, HubSpot inbound marketing, SEO, and content expertise. You would fill in yours there. And then give it back those examples that we used and ask it to generate those titles for you. So that's a prompt that you can use. That's our 7 tips. And Malia.
So we went through those really fast, and we have a lot of action items. It's a lot to take on though. So we do offer a AI visibility package that is a 3-month package. It includes a strategy session that we go over keyword analysis. We do an AI search audit using up to 3 different tools. Then we plan out 10 pieces of content based on that strategy and research. We write that and hand it over to you. It also includes 3 directory listing optimizations. So writing the copy for 3 different directories, handing that over to you in order to implement it. One story too of what happened when we were doing this for a current client, we asked it what are the top, providers, and it didn't list them because they had a negative Glassdoor. So that's where you can rate employees. So we came up with some options on how they could raise that. But that's just another way of that AI is searching everything, all the information that's available out there is grabbing that. So we'll look at those things. It takes about 3 months, and it's available if you want to scan this QR code. It's also on our website, but you can book a discovery call with us, and we'll talk through that more and what that would look like for you.
Great, thank you. And Tatiana had texted a question. I'll go ahead and answer it, or we can both answer it. Do reviews matter? Emily, in a way, you sort of answered that with the glass door there towards the end. Do you want to talk a little bit more about how reviews help with AI search visibility?
Right. So part of that directory portion, AI is looking at all the things. So if you have just on your website, we're the number one, we're the best, all that stuff, it's going to go, okay, it says that there, but what is Google My Business Review saying? If you have like a 3.0 star rating, or if on Yelp you have a 2-star rating, you can say that, but it's going to take those into consideration and like Glassdoor too. So if your employees aren't happy, it's going to know that from those, Glassdoor. Likewise, if your employees are happy and you have 5.0 on Glassdoor, that's going to then say, okay, maybe they are, a top provider, and that sentiment of your employees plays into that. So reviews matter, rankings matter. There's some difference B2B, B2C, but overall, yes, they do matter, and probably even more than they did before.
Yeah, and then just made me think of, make sure you turn your best of things that you get like that into content as well for chat and to find you. Like if you're listed as a top website firm in Cincinnati, turn that into content so that AI can find it as well. If you're listed or you win any sort of awards, turn it into a piece of content. That's some good news that you want to share. Great. Well, thank you all very much. I hope this was helpful and see you later.